Hey guys, welcome to Down Ballot Roundup, where I introduce you to Democratic candidates running in local elections throughout the country. I'm Bryan Randolph, and today I am here with Billy Cook, who is running for the Arkansas House to represent Arkansas's 19th district. Hello, Billy. It is great to have you today.
Hi, thank you so much for having me, Brian.
It's so great to have you. And why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, so I'm a lifelong Northwest Arkansan. Northwest Arkansas here is the home of Walmart. We're the home of Tyson Foods and JB Hunt Transportation. It's an interesting part of our state. I've lived here my entire life. I live here in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Went to the University of Arkansas at Fayetteville. And for my day job, I work for an anti-poverty nonprofit called Arkansas Community Organizations, where I focus on renters issues and housing justice.
All right, cool. And I heard a little bit about it, but tell me a little bit more about District 19.
Yes, State House District 19 covers four cities actually in this area. It covers the city of Fayetteville, Springdale, a little town between the two called Johnson, and has a little sliver of a town called Town to the far west of the district. It goes from south east to the northwest, sort of like a banana or a sickle, and it is one of the most competitive districts in all of Arkansas. It was decided by 646 votes in 2022, and that's only with about 50% voter turnout in a midterm. So more people will be voting this time around, and because I'm running an aggressive grassroots campaign, I intend to get the votes necessary to flip this seat.
Awesome. All right, cool. So when you're out there, I know you've been going door to door. What are you hearing as an issue that really sticks out with the people you're talking to?
Oh, I hear so many issues. You know, a lot of people are worried about the economy. They're worried about their ability to afford groceries, their rent, especially. You know, their utilities are going up, but other things too. You know, last year our Republican-controlled supermajority down in Little Rock passed an education reform bill called the LEARNS Act, which is a voucher scheme that they used in states like Arizona and other places to defund public schools and create what they called education freedom accounts, which is just the wholesale defunding of our public schools to get the private institutions that are unaccountable. And so, you know, you talk to a lot of teachers at their doors that are worried about, you know, their ability to continue serving their students as well as they used to. You talk to former teachers that feel as though the public education system is being radically altered and fundamentally and irrevocably changed. And then also this last year, our GOP supermajority reformed the Arkansas Freedom of Information Act, which used to be one of the strongest in the country, but because our governor, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, was in a number of scandals around the use of public funds, they decided instead of holding themselves accountable to the taxpayers, they would just change the public records laws to make it easier for taxpayers to access those records. And that passed. There were two bills, one of which was more extreme than the other. That one was shot down after mass public outcry, but they got the second one passed. And so, you know, you talk to a lot of Republicans and moderates that are worried about their right to a transparent government being taken away from them. You know, that's one of the main reasons I decided to run is, philosophically, it doesn't matter who you are or how you vote, you deserve to know what's being done with your tax dollars.
And can you think of something specific that you would want to maybe advance in the state house to fight something like that?
Yes. Well, we need to restore our Freedom of Information law before it was ever gutted the way that they did. So restoring the Freedom of Information Act as it was is a big priority of mine. And then, you know, what other anti-corruption measures we can do. I think we need to do everything we can to get money out of our state politics. We need to crack down on lobbying. We need to make sure that, you know, public servants are actually public servants, in my opinion.
All right. Where do you think that you and your opponent differ the most?
Well, on many of those issues I just described, my opponent was a sponsor of the LEARNS Act to defund our public schools. He voted to hide public records. This Earlier this year, they had a fiscal session where they gave tax breaks for the ultra wealthy, who were already doing well here in Arkansas. And so we differ on that. I think if there are going to be tax cuts, they need to be for working people. Arkansas has one of the most regressive tax systems in the country. We have very high sales taxes, but they are ultimately trying to eliminate our income tax like they've done in states like Texas. But our state requires that we have a balanced budget in our state constitution. And therefore, if they cut a tax somewhere, they have to cut a government service or a program somewhere else to keep our balanced budget. So we differ on education. We differ on government transparency issues. My opponent is not very vocal on housing issues. Northwest Arkansas is one of the fastest growing regions of the country because we have three Fortune 500 companies in our backyard. So many people are coming here all the time. That's created a housing crisis. But my opponent seems very reluctant or hesitant to talk about the housing crisis, and he just says it's a problem that other people are dealing with in other cities, but not here.
Of course. What do you think you've picked up in your nonprofit work that you would bring with you to the State House?
Well, one of the primary reasons I decided to run was because Arkansas is one of the worst states, if not the worst state in the nation to be a renter. We are a very pro-landlord state. Renters have virtually no rights here. And every day in my job, I see people that have to live with mold, that have to live with roaches. People don't have a right to central heat and air. People don't have a right under our state to smoke and carbon monoxide detectors. And that's just wrong. We're the only state in the nation where a landlord can press criminal charges against a tenant for being behind on their rent. That's a 1901 Jim Crow era law that's still on the books here in our state. And so I'm running to not only end criminal evictions in Arkansas, but also pass real habitability standards so I can stop seeing people every day living with mold and roaches and being harassed by their landlords and having effectively no recourse.
Excellent. All right. Okay. So now we get to this is my softball question, which is actually my favorite question. I would like you to tell me something about District 19 that makes it special to you.
Hmm. It is so beautiful. We have some, wonderful landmarks. There's a lake, Lake Fayetteville, here on the north end of town that I take daily walks to. There's a lot of trails in this region. Northwest Arkansas is known now as the mountain bike capital of the world because we're known for our expansive trail network. There are a lot of hiking opportunities in District 19. But I also just love the people. We've knocked over 3,000 doors and counting in this campaign. In all of those conversations, I've met people across the political spectrum, from every socioeconomic background that, they're just worried about whether or not they're going to be able to feed their families. They're worried if their public schools are going to be, as good as they can be and well funded. And they want to see the community thrive. And of course, we can all have different ideas about how we can make the community thrive. But, I've had people invite me into their living rooms and offer me coffee and water and granola bars because they may or may not believe in what I'm doing, but they, at the very least, respect someone who's out there doing it.
That is fantastic. Billy Cook is a candidate, a Democratic candidate for the Arkansas State House District 19. Thank you so much for being with us today, and best of luck. I hope you flip your district because it sounds like you're doing great work out there.
Thank you so much. And thank you for having interviews and opportunities like this for candidates.